Have young teenagers of today ever been given proper notice to how much sexism can immensely affect society? The youth of today still hurl ridiculous sexist jokes once in a while at each other, oblivious to the fact of how much of a negative impact they are making. They may have an idea of how much sexism can affect the minds of teenage women, but they do not realize the growing ripple effect they are generating. Teenagers are old enough to understand the problems of sexism toward women, and are also young enough to decide for themselves which path they would like to follow. Teenagers of today need to abstain from sexist views through the awareness of how it negatively influences what is done within the government, school, and home. Teenagers. Sexism can deeply influence the way government manages women. In certain foreign countries, for example, when women do not have the right to vote or make major decisions within their government. It is unthought of and absurd in those countries to think women have a place in their society's progress. Teenagers. It is not fair for the women to suppress their ideas, whether they are effective or not. Anyone should be able to contribute to the progress of their country if one chooses to do so. Many women in the military are further not able to obtain jobs only men are allowed to acquire because of their physical makeup. Women should not be denied the opportunity to serve her country just because of her natural physical being. Teenagers, we must take into consideration that these women are trying to enhance the future and prospering of our country through trying to help in a certain branch of the military. Women are also, to this day, victims to unfair pay and income from their employers. A woman should not be given a lower income just because of her gender. Teenagers, it is not fair for women to struggle to support her family due to one's corrupt and unjust views for women. Just as there are sexist actions brought about within the government, there are also cruel sexist events which occur within school grounds. Female students within school grounds are constantly faced with the sexist views of society. Males, for example, can throw hurtful and scarring comments toward teenage women just for the benefit of their own ego or entertainment. It is unfair and unfortunate for these women to be trampled by these comments, and even more unfortunate when they begin to believe and give in to the false statements. In other countries, women are also not encouraged to receive a proper education, but are instead harshly and brutally rebuked from it. Females on their way to school have been thrown acid on their faces from surrounding males. It is not right for these women to be going through this abuse and brutality just because of their gender. It is not right that women should be forced to sit in the dark, despairing caves away from the luminous rays of enlightenment. It is not right that women must be afraid to go to school every day for fear that brutal abuse may be coming their way. Teenagers, no matter how small, trivial, or apparently humorous your sexist acts may be, realize those acts build up and cause terrible issues such as these. Furthermore, the sexist problems within school are a reflection of what goes on within the homes of sexist children. The poison and torment of sexism begins in the home and seeps out and spreads like blood from a wound which is not tended to. There are parents all around the world that favor their sons much more than their daughters. The sons notice this behavior and begin to believe that the man is superior to the woman. And what is even worse is that the woman begins to believe they are inferior and cannot further fulfill to the fullest potential of a man due to their own self-fulfilling prophecy. Teenagers begin to detach from and avoid these sexist views at home so that the sexist views may not find or darken the light of the outside world. If the teenagers at home do not suppress the sexist views, the views will eventually spread to school grounds and then to the high powers of the government. Teenagers, make a serious and committed effort to weaken the poisonous views of sexism. Would you want these atrocities to be done to your mothers, to your sisters, to your future wives, and your future daughters? Teenagers, the future for women in our society's progress lies within your hands. We need to help suppress sexist views so that women may be granted the opportunity to live fair and equal lives in the future.